وبعد. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, among the verses in the Quran which is the last to be revealed to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, is the verse where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and told all of us that this dunya is short and the promise of Allah is true, and that we all going back to meet Him. Inna wa'da Allahi haqq. The promise of Allah is truth. وَاتَّقُوا يَوْمًا تُرْجَعُونَ فِيهِ إِلَى اللَّهِ ثُمَّ تُوَفَّى كُلُّ نَفْسٍ مَا كَسَبَتْ وَهُمْ لَا يُظْلَمُونَ. Prepare yourself, fear the day when you will return to your Lord, and each and every one of you will be held accountable for their deeds. I'm not sure if you have seen the video that's circulating these days. It became a trending here in Kuwait, where a sheikh in Hawali was giving a talk. He's a Palestinian, older gentleman from this community, from your community, well known, speaking and giving a talk, and he was talking about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, not far away from here. And in the talk, he stopped and he said, "Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah." He's a Palestinian older gentleman. Then he died on the spot. Have you seen this video?
Yeah.
It's been circulating around.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
It became very famous. So just 2 days ago or something like that. This time where Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, whoever dies, his or her judgment day starts. So the judgment day or the hereafter is two kinds. One for all humanity and all creations, which is the one that we will talk in details about, is the resurrection and the gathering, the great gathering. But there is also a judgment day, which is for each individual. The one specific for individual, it starts when you die, and you see the angels, and you will be told you among the people of hellfire or paradise. And the one which is general for all creations, which has happened next life, when this worldly life ends and the next life start, and people will be told if they are among the people of Jannah or among the people of hellfire. وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّكُمْ مُلَاقُوهُ. Have taqwa of Allah and know. No, we all know that, but the point not knowing, the point is always remember. العلم ليس المقصود. المقصود that العلم, the knowledge that leads you to actions, that you will meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then he said, وَبَشِّرِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Give the glad tidings for the believers. When I think about meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I am happy. Even though I know I have so many sins that I committed. I have so many shortcomings. I know how bad I am. Know of myself very well. But still, every time I think of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for whatever reason, I always find that His love and mercy and acceptance always motivate me to do more good and to repent. And I never fear, I'm not ever afraid to meet Him. I'm afraid from my sins, but I'm not afraid from Him. And the more you study about the Day of Judgment, the more that you always have this balance. I fear my sins, but I don't fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I fear Him in a sense that I try to avoid and motivate to do good. But I don't fear Him in a sense that I expect He will be, aggressive, unjust, unfair, not merciful. No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so merciful with His servants. That's why He said you will meet Him and give glad tidings to the believing men and women. تَحِيَّتُهُمْ يَوْمَ يَلْقَوْنَهُ سَلَامًا. he meets us, he will tell us salama, يعني safety and tranquility and peace be upon you. وَأَعَدَّ لَهُمْ أَجْرًا كَرِيمًا. And he prepared for you a reward, kareem. Anybody knows what kareem means? His reward is kareem. What that means? Kindness. Okay, what else? Good. Generous. What else? Anybody is named Kareem? Nice. Any sister named Karima? Okay, Kareem, which it means generous, kind. But I'll tell you something. Kareem actually doesn't mean that. Even though we think Kareem it means Jawad, which it means generous, but not necessarily. I'll give you an example. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about his throne that Allah's throne is Kareem. Dhul Arsh al-Kareem. Throne Kareem, what throne is generous? Makes no sense, that's right? So what Kareem means? So-and-so person, Kareem. Kareem qawmih, it means the master of his people, the leader of his people. Kareem originally means the one who have the best of qualities, unmatched qualities. That's why Kareem, throne is Kareem because Allah's throne, no throne like it. It's a very unique throne. Nothing similar to it. Allah is Kareem because no one have his qualities. Okay? So why did we call generosity karam? Why do we call generous people Kareem? Because generosity is unmatched quality. It's the best of all quality. That's why the Arab used the word Kareem for it, to tell you that this is the best quality, unmatched. So the original use of the word Kareem, which it means unmatched. So وَأَعَدَّ لَهُمْ أَجْرًا كَرِيمًا, يعني the reward is unmatched. Nobody can reward you the same way Allah reward you. No king, no rich people, no one. No one can reward you the way that Allah reward. It's a beautiful verse. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warn us. He said in Surah Al-Kahf, قُلْ أَنَبِّئُكُمْ بِالْأَخْسَرِينَ أَعْمَالًا الَّذِينَ ضَلَّ سَعْيُهُمْ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَهُمْ يَحْسَبُونَ أَنَّهُمْ يُحْسِنُونَ صُنْعًا. You want to know about the greatest losers in this life? The one their deeds are basically dalal, misguided, not beneficial, no benefit out of it. Who are they? And they think they're doing good. They work hard, but actually... Okay, I guess I'll use the other verse. قُلْ هَلْ أُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِالْأَخْسَرِينَ أَعْمَالًا. You want to know about the one who will lose their deeds on the day of judgment? Who are they? أولئك الذين كفروا الذين كفروا بآيات ربهم ولقائه فحبطت أعمالهم فلا نقيم لهم يوم القيامة وزنا. Those who have kufr, denied Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's signs and ayat and the day of judgment. They don't think of it. They just don't even believe in it. Or if they know about it, they don't believe in it. They don't prepare themselves for it. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ لَا يَرْجُونَ لِقَاءَنَا وَرَضُوا بِالْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. Ya salam.
just look ugly in the video, but I don't mind. Oops. Okay. Those who don't think of the day where they will meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَرَضُوا بِالْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَطْمَأَنُّوا بِهَا. They are so pleased with the dunya and they're so relaxed, relying on it. They don't think of that day when it comes. The day where they will be moved from this life to the next. أُولَٰئِكَ مَأْوَاهُمُ النَّارِ. They end up in hellfire. See, this is how it works. Those who fear the day of judgment today, they feel safe tomorrow. That's what the Prophet said. And those who don't care about it today, they will fear it tomorrow. Why they give food, why they give the donation, why they do all the good deeds? Why you think? الذين يبيتون لربهم سجدا وقياما. Those who spend the night making sujood and qiyam, what they say? What they say? Anybody knows? The next verse? ربنا اصرف عنا عذاب جهنم إن عذابها كان غراما. Ya Rabb, protect us from the hellfire. I just ask myself, what about those who spend their nights watching TVs? The one who spend their nights saying haram, or watching haram, or sleeping, or just working. I'm not saying they're doing something bad, those, especially last example, but I'm saying just doing nothing special. The one who doing sujood and salah and ibadah, they saying, Ya Rab, protect us from the hellfire. So if we don't do that much of ibadah, we should say that way more than them. إنما نطعمكم لوجه الله لا نريد منكم جزاء ولا شكورا إنا نخاف من ربنا يوما عبوسا قمطريرا فوقاهم الله شر ذلك اليوم ولقاهم نضرة وسرورا. They give the food, they feed people, and they love to do that. And they give them from the food that they love the most, the wealth that they love the most. And they will say, we do this because we fear the Day of Judgment. The Day of Judgment has many names. And each one of these names is a description. And when in Arabic language and the culture of the language, whenever you give something multiple names, it means something important and valuable. That's why the Quran has so many names. Muhammad has so many names. And even culturally speaking, what do you think a man in the desert, what means to him the most? Like people of Arabia at that time. Things important for a guy who live in Arabia. Camel, that's right. Means a lot to a person living in this part of the Arabs. So that's why camels has you'll find camels has many names. What else? Dog means a lot to them because shepherd. Okay? That's why in Arabic language we have more than 70 names for the dog. What else? Sword, they're knights. That's why in Arabic language you have maybe 80 names for the sword. So anything that of value for them has a lot of names. That's why also you see Allah has so many names. Anything that is important has many names. So immediately when you see something has multiple names, it is something important. Either to care for it or to be aware of. So Al-Qiyamah has so many names in the Quran and Sunnah. And each and every name has a meaning. And that's a good class that you guys have with yourself, with your family, in the weekend school to do this practice. I'm just going to give you an example. One of the name of the Day of Judgment, Yawm al-Qiyamah. Anybody knows what that means? Al-Qiyamah. The day of Qama, what's Qama?
Standing.
Standing. It's called the day of standing. Why?
Because everybody is standing.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. 50,000 years in your feet. No chair, no rest, no nap, no sleeping, no sitting. And either you're standing or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the other verse He said, يَوْمَ تَرَى كُلَّ أُمَّةٍ جَاثِيَةٍ. You will see all nations kneeling. What that means? It's like this. Like this. Like their heads down. And that's when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes to judge between people. And in certain positions, certain time people will make sujood to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But everybody's standing. It's like when the judge comes, everybody stands. When the king comes, everybody stands. It shows basically the importance of that day. So it's called Yawm al-Qiyamah because everybody is standing. طيب. Another name. Yawm al-Jam', the day of gathering. Can anybody tell me why it's called the day of gathering? What that means? Everybody from Adam to the last human being, we gathered them together. We never saw the people lived before us. You'll see them. What else? What can other meaning come to your mind? Gathering.
All in one place?
All gathered in one place, from the beginning of Adam to the end. Only human beings? This is the day when Allah gathered human and jinn, they see each other in one place. A gathering where Allah gathered us with the angels. We see them and they see us. You see the angels. Never gathered the angels and humans and jinn together ever before. Now they are all gathered in one place. Gathering, because Allah gathered you with the believer and gathered them with the disbelievers. He gathered the believers together and the disbelievers together. The day of gathering, because this is the day where Allah gather you with your deeds. يَجْمَعْ بَيْنَكَ وَبَيْنَ عَمَلِكَ. He bring your deeds in the records and gather you with it. So the word gathering carry all these meanings. And يوم التغابن. What's التغابن? التغابن comes from the word غبن. غبن, it means when you feel that you didn't get a good deal. You didn't take a good advantage of something. That's why the Nabi ﷺ said, 2 blessings, a lot of people have ghabn on them. They don't take advantage of them. Youth and what? Health. You feel like, I miss a lot. I just had recently an operation that prevented me from making sujood for more than a month. 5 weeks, couldn't go to sujood. First sajda I did was 2 weeks ago. No, 2 weeks ago, or less, in Mecca. For more than 5 weeks, I could not go down. Wallahi, when I put my head down in Haram, I was like, my heart was shaking so hard. I miss sujood so much. 5 weeks, couldn't put my head down and salah. And I said to myself, wow, I've been healthy all these years, and alhamdulillah, I never had a situation where I have to do that. I said, wow, I'm missing a lot. Now as you get older and your health is not as you were in 18, 16, I said to myself, I wish that I did, alhamdulillah, I did good thing in my youth, but I said to myself, I wish I did more. Now you pray maybe 1 hour, you get tired. But before, 1 hour, 2 hours, easy. Fasting, you fast, like you barely fast Ramadan, a few days after Ramadan, but early in the days when you're younger, maybe when you have health, some people now they can't fast. They have to take medication. So that's the ghabun. You feel that I miss an opportunity. I feel the deal, I could have done better. So why the day of judgment is Yawm al-Taghabun? Because you will realize at that point that you did not take full advantage of dunya. At that day, everyone, even if you are the most righteous person, you will realize that I could have done more. And if you've done bad, you will know that this was a bad deal. Not worth it. I fulfilled my desires, I made rich, I made money, I did this and this. It's not worth it. So that's the day of Al-Taghabun. Yawm al-Fasl. And by the way, Al-Taghabun, it says, when the people go to Jannah and they settle in one level of Jannah and they see people way higher than them. At that moment they said also, I wish I did more so I can go higher. Yawm al-Fasl, the day of separation. Where Allah separate the believers from the hypocrites, the believer from the disbelievers. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala finalize things. That's just unbelievable. When you think about the meanings of this day, it's something I highly recommend you to look into it. Maybe there is over 25 names. It's something you can do on your own and start looking at these names and how those, what that means to you. When we talk about believing in the hereafter and the day of judgment, usually the theologian scholars discuss the following topics. The end of that time, the apocalypse and its signs. So what will happen in the end of the days? Then they talk about death and the souls and the grave. Then they talk about resurrection. Then they talk about the day of judgment. Then they talk about basically the compensation, or Jannah or hellfire, the reward or the punishment. So these are the topics that the ulama rahimahullah talk about, theologian, whenever they talk about believing in the hereafter. All these topics together. And as you know, we cannot be able to cover all this together. That's why we will pick from the time people get resurrected from their grave and their judgment, the judgment day start for everyone at that point. But it's not a bad idea to just touch upon one thing because it's kind of introduction to it. When the day of judgment happened, there will be in the earth people. Like when the trumpet is blowing and the earth and the heavens and the stars change and the mountain, all this happen, okay? Right at the end of this world. So let me take you from there so you can understand what will happen. There is a wind will come, or a smoke will come. And that smoke will come to earth. Not a single believer will smell it, will breathe it in until the believer will die. They will die in their homes, and their caves, and in other places. SubhanAllah, at that point, a single believer will remain on this earth. Only disbelievers. Disbelievers. And that moment Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will order, as it came in the hadith sahih, that even the masahif that was left behind, the whole entire Quran, the print of the Mus'haf, the Quran will be taken away from it. You flip the pages and it is blank, white. Nothing in it. And Al-Kaaba will be destroyed. And no one will rebuild it or defend it. No Hajj, no Umrah. That's why Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam قال استمتعوا بهذا البيت فإنه هدم مرتين ويوشك أن يهدم ثالثة فلا يبنى. It will be destroyed third time. No one will rebuild it. Khalas, no Hajj, no Muslims, no believers left on the face of the earth. Not a single believer. And the shaitan think that he won. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم على هؤلاء تقوم الساعة على شرار الخلق ليس فيهم من يقول الله الله وفي رواية قال لا إله إلا الله في صحيح مسلم. Not among them a person say Allah. يعني Allah's name is never mentioned. It's not Allah Allah like a dhikr. No. And some no, Allah is not mentioned. Like this guy once told me, one of my students, he said, Sheikh, my father never prayed. Sheikh, he's not never prayed. Sheikh, he said, I am now in my 20s, late 20s. I never heard my father said Allah a single time of his life. Since I born. يقول لي, I never heard say Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, nothing like that. Allah's name never was mentioned in our house. So when Nabi said Allah, Allah, Allah is not mentioned at all. They're completely turning their back to Allah. None of them saying La ilaha illallah. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, those are the people who will witness the blow on the trumpet. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he went to Al-Isra wal-Mi'raj, he saw this angel holding a trumpet, a big huge one, in his hand. قال وثنى عن جبهته. He's like ready to blow. He said, who's this? Jibreel told him, this is Israfil, ready in any moment to get the order, and Allah will order him, he will blow on the trumpet. And when this blow take place, those who are on the face of this earth, no one will hear it unless they will die. Or in another opinion among the scholars, very famous opinion, they will be terrified. That nafkhat al-faza', they will be completely terrified. It's a very loud sound that will terrify them, scare them to death. And that when that stars start falling, and the sun is coming near, and the mountain turn to dust, and basically the change on the earth. So those people will witness that. Some said no, actually it will cause death while these things happen. So not necessarily that they will witness everything of it. Al-Razi said something very interesting. He said, question, why Allah will destroy this beautiful, perfect world He built? This beautiful sun, moon, earth, mountains, such beautiful creations, isn't it? Isn't earth so beautiful? Why will Allah destroy it? Then he answered this with a beautiful point actually. قال لأن الله ما بناها للكافرين ولا خلقها للكافرين ومستمتع بها بسبب المؤمنين. He said, because Allah did not make this beautiful world for the kuffar. The only reason they're enjoying it is because of the existence of the believers. And when there is no more believers there and not coming, they don't deserve it. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it collapse, because they don't deserve it. So here, you see that that's the beginning of the Day of Judgment for those people who live. But those who died already a long time ago, like us, all died before this day take place. What will happen to us? As we know, كل نفس ذائقة الموت ثم إلينا ترجعون. each and every soul shall taste death. Then into us you shall be returned. Every person will die. When? We don't know. Where? You don't know. How? You don't know. Wallahi, it's amazing. When you just think about it, you know for sure you will die. That's why Al-Hasan al-Basri said, there's one thing we're all sure about, we're going to die. But we still deal with death as if the most doubtful thing will ever happen. As if it's not going to happen to us. We just feel so safe from it, and nobody knows when it's going to happen. أينما تكونوا يدرككم الموت. Wherever you are, death will come to you. You run away from death, but death will hunt you. You take care of your health, you do all this, you do all that. But subhanAllah, when your time comes, your time comes. One of my friends, he's an ER doctor, was telling me about a story of a young lady, 21 years old, in the hospital. He did all the paperwork for her to be discharged from the hospital. All her lab work came perfect, she's ready to go. He said, I signed the paper. I'm doing my tour, how the doctor checked one patient at a time. He said, I'm still doing my tour. He said, like, half an hour later, I see, how there is a pager, any doctors here? There's like a pager goes off, and there's this red, it's like in the floor. Ooh, the red, sign comes, it's like emergency. I rush, look which room, it's her room. She was actually, he said, wallahi, this young lady that I just checked, she was so excited to get out of the hospital, so ready to go, full of life. I walked to this room and I saw another human being. Her face pale, she collapsed, her heart collapsed, her lungs, just in a matter of 30 minutes. I don't know what happened. Nobody knows what's happened. And she died. They couldn't save her. She was just ready to leave. You don't know, you think you are immune from death? No, no one is. And that's where the person upon death, their judgments start. And when people die, their soul, death is what? Death is not that the inhalation of the souls. No. Ahl Sunnah, the Muslims, see death, something occur to you. You see the difference? We're completely different than atheists and like people who don't believe in resurrection. Or there's a lot of philosophers who talk about this. This death is when you became not exist. Actually, no. Death, it means you go from one life to another. From one form of a life to another. We are made of what? Body and soul. Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah said, because of that, Allah made for us three types of lives. The first one, this worldly life, where most of the joy and the suffering related to the body and partially to the soul. In the grave, most of the reward and the joys and the suffering related to the soul and partially to the body, because body quickly will vanish. But in the hereafter, the next one, it is equal between the body and the soul. The reward and the joy and the suffering equally applied to both your body and your soul. So when your soul depart, leave your body, will be taken by the angels. And that process of death is hard for everyone. Nobody can escape that. Even Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, it was very hard for him the moment of death. He was sweating sallallahu alayhi wasallam and he was saying, La ilaha illallah. وهذا الدعاء يقرأ عند الكرب. You say this in the time of suffering, when you are in pain. One of the du'at say, La ilaha illallah, inna lil mawti la sakarat. He was saying, La ilaha illallah, death is hard. Death is hard. That's Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the reason for this, because the angel, that's why Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمَا تَرَدَّدْتُ عَنْ شَيْءٍ أَنَا فَاعِلُ في البخاري. I never hesitated to do anything. Allah saying, I never hesitated to do anything except one thing I'm hesitant about. And the hesitation comes from two reasons. You hesitate to do something because you're ignorant, you don't know, or you don't know the outcome of it, but that's not Allah. And I'm hesitant because I know, but I don't want to do it. It comes from knowledge, and that's Allah's hesitation. So Allah said, I've never been hesitant about anything except one thing: to collect the soul of my dear servant. And I know it will hurt him, and I don't want him to get hurt. وأنا أكره مساءته. لا إله إلا الله. That moment, the point is that depart, that your soul so used to your body. Take that away from the body is not an easy thing. But the moment it depart, it became for the believer so easy. That's why Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, that's the beginning of the process. When you enter that process, when the soul khalas leaves, for the believer it leaves like the water coming out of the container. Smooth. For the fajr, في رواية كافر, في رواية منافق, 3 narrations. Hypocrite, fajr, wrongdoers, evildoer, kafir, 3rd narration. The soul will be taken out when it, plus the suffering of the death itself, when it leaves the body, and Nabi Sallallahu said, it will leave like when you have a piece of cotton stuck in a thorn. And you pull it will be pieces. The believer's soul will be taken by the angels, and it will be risen to the heavens. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say to the angel of death and to the angels who are holding it. The angel don't just collect it and give it to, so the angel just combined with other angels that they take care of the soul. So he collected and give it to them. How many angels of death? 1. How can an angel of death collect the soul of so many people at the same time in many different places in the world in the same second? We don't know. That's an ability that Allah give it to that angel. We don't know how that works. But he has a lot of other angels helping him. When he collects the soul, he give it to them. And they take that basically soul, and they rise it or take it up all the way to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's presence. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells the angels, take this soul back to the earth, because I promised them to be resurrected from it, and they live and die in it, and will bring them back from it. Then the soul comes back, and that's where in the grave it will be judged. Then after that, where the soul goes? Remain, or where it goes? As for the kuffar, the heavens will not be open for them. They try to take it up, but the gates of the heavens are closed, the skies. Then Allah will tell them from a distance, why the souls of the evildoer were not risen, were not brought near to Allah. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most pure, Quddus. Nothing come closer to Him unless it's a perfect, purified. Will not be allowed, and it will be left to fall down, as in Nasa'i reported in the Hadith Sahih, and the soul of the disbeliever will fall all the way back to earth. فَتَخْطَفُهُ الطَّيْرُ أَوْ تَهْوِي بِهِ الرِّيحُ في مكان سحيق. Will be like when the bird picks something and they let it go. Have you ever seen this eagle, the mountain eagle, when they pick the goat, they fly with it, then they let it go. So it will fall, and what will happen? It will die, hit the ground, die, then they go eat it. That's like this. طير, snatch it, and then leave it. The soul will be snatched, taken, and be left to fall down to the body. And when the person go to the janazah, their souls, and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said also Sahih Muslim, the soul will be above the body, attached to the body. All this happened in no time. So the concept of time is completely now different than the concept of time we have here. Here the time has a certain meaning for us. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the next life, completely different. You don't count it by minutes and days, it's just a different way. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said an example, one day for Allah is like a 50,000 years for you, from your days. So here, all this happened, then the angels, when the souls comes above the body, they keep saying, the soul of the believers, take me to my grave, take me my grave. Because the moment you take the person to their grave and you bury them, their soul will be disattached from the body. And I'll tell you where it goes. For the disbelievers, they don't want. The disbeliever will say, where are you taking me? Or the wrong way, where are you taking me? Don't take me to my grave. Don't take me to my grave. But nobody can hear it. Khalas, there is separation. Barzakh. Barzakh, it means a separation. A barrier. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about the two seas, وَبَيْنَهُمَا بَرْزَخٌ لَا يَبْغِيَانِ. Between the two, the fresh water and salt water, a barzakh, a barrier. They will not mix. By the way, here in Kuwait, if you ask fishermen, Kuwaiti fishermen, I don't know if you guys know that or not, but Kuwait known for that, Bahrain known for that, Qatar they also have that, Saudi Arabia, everybody in the Gulf, they know this very well. There is a freshwater spring inside the Gulf. So when they go in the old days, for days and days, and they run out of water, they know springs inside the Gulf. And they go there and they drink from it. Fresh water. Inside, in the middle of the salt, and Gulf is a very salty water. One of the saltiest water ever. And the reason, because the Gulf millions of years ago does not exist, it was actually very salty, like water, land, it's just sand. And, anyway. So, but if you ask fishermen, they'll tell you it's a yun, like a spring inside the Gulf. And will not mix with the salt water. Barzakh, that's why there is a barzakh, there's a barrier between us and them. We cannot communicate. They don't hear us. And the way that they hear us in the dunya, they might hear what you say, but they cannot respond. And you cannot hear them at all. The only way dead can communicate with living people through dreams. Their souls talk. You might see their soul in a different way, different setup. Anyway, so where is the souls of the believers go? We know the souls of the martyrs, the shuhada. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَا تَحْسَبَنَّ الَّذِينَ قُتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أَمْوَاتًا بَلْ أَحْيَاءٌ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ يُرْزَقُونَ. In Surah Al-Imran 169, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, think not of those who are killed in the way of Allah as dead. Nay, they are alive with their Lord, and they have provision. This verse was recited by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it was related to the martyrs because they have a special place for their souls. In Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, their souls are cast inside green birds, which rest in lambs hanging on Allah's throne. They freely roam through the Jannah, then return to these nests. Reported by Muslim. And then Imam Ahmad rahimahullah reported from Hadith ibn Abbas that the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, that the Messenger of Allah said, when your brothers were killed in the battle of Uhud, Allah cast their souls into green birds that frequent the rivers of Jannah, eat from its fruits, rest in the lambs of gold, hanging on the shadow of the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All these are authentic narration. So we know from this that the soul of the martyr will be cast inside green birds, and it will be freely roaming in Jannah, eating, drinking from it, and they rest in their place of resting will be in a lamp made of gold on the shadow or the shades or the shade of Allah's throne. That's the soul of the believers. But what about other than the believers? Where is the rest of humanity? Where's me, you, who die, like maybe in natural death? Where their souls will be. Some scholars said, like Ibn Hazm rahimahullah said, he's a scholar from Spain. I don't know if you guys know this or not. Souls are created before bodies. Are you familiar with this fact? And your soul was made and created before your body was made. Okay? That's why Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, when you are 120 days, the angel take your soul and attach it to the body. So that means your soul was exist before that. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, وَإِذْ أَخَذَ رَبُّكَ مِنْ بَنِي آدَمَ مِنْ ظُهُورِهِمْ ذُرِّيَّتَهُمْ وَأَشْهَدَهُمْ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ أَلَسْتُ بِرَبِّكُمْ قَالُوا بَلَىٰ شَهِدْنَا أَن تَقُولُوا يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ إِنَّا كُنَّا عَنْ هَذَا غَافِلِينَ. And remember when your Lord brought forth from the children of Adam, from their lineage or from their basic, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought all the souls of the children of Adam and from Adam, and he made them testify as to themselves, saying, am I not your Lord? They said, yes, we testify. Then Allah said, let you should say no on the day of resurrection. Verily, we have been unaware of this. In another word, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the hadith reported by Imam Ahmad, Allah wiped over Adam's back. And he brought from Adam all his children and they lined them up. So that means خَلَقْنَاكُمْ ثُمَّ صَوَّرْنَاكُمْ. After he created Adam, he made you and he shaped you. That's why the soul of the human take the shape of the body. Your soul have the same shape of your body. That's why in the dream you see the soul of the person. That's why Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in the Isra wal Mi'raj didn't see Musa's body on earth. He didn't see Adam's body on earth. He didn't see Ibrahim on earth. What he saw, the souls of the believer, of these prophets. And the soul have the same shape of the humans. So when he saw these prophets in the Isra wal Mi'raj, he saw their souls. Okay? So here we say that in Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi the people, Nabi Sallallahu told us that Allah created all the souls or brought all the souls of the children of Adam and lined them up. And he said, I'm your Lord. They said, yes you are. Our Lord. Shahid. He said, don't come in the day of judgment and say we forgot about this. I mean, now we can say we forgot about it. Nobody remember that. Do you remember that you stand before Allah and Allah asks a question? No one. But what's that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's why He put the fitrah inside you. To remind you that Allah is your Lord. He put so many signs. He sent messenger to trigger that. That's what you think. You feel like a moment of truth. Especially those who converted to Islam, they can tell you the moment they became Muslim, they found something was lost inside them. Because everybody naturally have that connection with Allah, knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why al-Iman, ليست قضية عقلية. Al-Iman is not just a logic thing. Al-Iman, it is something inside your soul, connect you with Allah. That's why those who deny God, they just lost their soul, lost that connection. And the moment they find it, they see. That's why you see so many people accepted Islam, not because of debate or logic or no. It's that, and subhanAllah, that something natural inside their heart connect them to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All of us believers, why? Did you debate yourself over the existence of God? No, you feel that connection that this is my Lord. If somebody come to me and said Allah's the next day, I say, get out of here, get out of my face. Not because I debated myself and Allah showed me miracles. It's much stronger to me than seeing a miracle. It's from inside my heart. I have 100%, alhamdulillah, believe in His existence, believe in Him. Zakir Naik once, somebody told him, I'm wondering if you go to your grave and you find out there is no hellfire and paradise and God. how would you feel? So Zakir Naik told him, I'm 100% sure I'll be better than those who will find out there is one. You got it? Yani, if there is nothing, how I'm going to feel? Not very much. It's not going to make a difference. But the problem is, if you go and you find that there is one, there's a hellfire. That's where the problem is. You know, that's where you get really screwed at that point. Anyway, so, sorry. Going back to the point here, so this iman inside your heart, so the souls are already made and created. Ibn Hazm said, where their souls, where they were at after they were created. Whatever that place is, all the souls goes back to that place. That's Ibn Hazm's opinion. He said, wherever the place where all the souls were gathered before the creation of humans, that spot, I don't agree with that, because that means the soul of the believer and disbeliever together. And I don't think this is a strong opinion. Some scholars said, no, the souls of believers will be roaming around on earth freely. Their soul travel the earth. Or the soul of the disbelievers locked in the vicinity of the grave, or inside the grave where they buried. It's heard by Imam Malik rahimahullah said that. Also, one narration from Imam Ahmad rahimahullah said the souls of the disbeliever go to hellfire, and the souls of the believer go to paradise until the day of judgment comes. The souls of believers roam freely, and the souls of disbeliever locked up, Salman al-Farisi. The souls of the believers are outside the gate of paradise, just at the gates of paradise. All the souls of the believers are the presence of Allah, except those are prevented through major sins and debt. Abu Hurairah and Umar ibn al-Khattab, it was reported that they said that. Muhammad ibn Nasr al-Marwazi, rahimahullah, and Abu Ishaq al-Ariya, they kind of said something similar to Ibn Hazm rahimahullah, that all the souls will be in a place. Some said the soul of the believers will be in paradise, the soul of the disbeliever will be gathered and put in a well in Hadramaut in Yemen, it's called Barhabut. I don't know if you ever saw that. It's a very scary looking place. Maybe that's why they think it is. Some people said in the core of the earth. Okay? Ibn Abdul Barr rahimahullah said the souls of the murderers are in Jannah, and the souls of the rest of the believers are near their graves. Mujahid ibn Jabr said they stay around the grave for 7 days after burial, and that goes around Jannah without entering. So all these different opinions among the scholars lead us to a conclusion, which is, that's what I end this session with. The people are different levels and different times. And based on this, their souls have a different places. So the prophets and messengers, their souls in the presence of Allah. That's why Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Ben al-Rafiq al-A'la. I want the presence of Allah. That's why when he went to Isra al-Mi'raj, he saw the prophets in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then the soul of the martyrs, the shuhada. You heard what the Prophet said about their souls. Then you have the souls of the rest of the believers. وَعَامَةِ النَّاسِ. The rest of the believers in general, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, as the hadith reported by Ka'b ibn Malik, surely the believers' souls turn into a bird that sits in the trees of Jannah until Allah sends it back to the body, to their bodies, on the day that they will be resurrected. Reported by Imam Malik from Muwatta and Imam Ahmad, and it's an authentic narration. So all the believers, their souls will be in Jannah. Is there is a connection between their souls in Jannah and their body? Yes. Even though they are in Jannah and their body in earth, yes. It's like when you go to sleep. Allah told us in the Quran, when you sleep, your soul leave your body. But still there is a connection. That's why even if your dream sees something, your body will be walking, sweating. That's right. So even in this minor death, there is a connection between the soul and the body, even that they can be in two different places. So what do you think of the next life, the major death? Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he said that. He answered this. And he said, if this can happen in the minor death, the major death also can happen to them. Where your body can be somewhere but still connected to the grave. And connected to your body as long as your body exists on the grave. So, but also there's other believers, their souls will not be there. Their souls will be stopped at the gate of paradise. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said about the man who died in debt. He said, this man, his soul was stopped at the gate of paradise, was not allowed to enter until someone else paid that person's debt. And the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, surely, and there's many hadith, but just for the sake of time, the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, surely, so-and-so died from your family, was stopped at the gate of Jannah because of a debt. So if you pay his debt, his soul will be allowed to enter Jannah. And if you don't wish to, then he will be taken to the punishment of Allah. And the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that if you die free of debt, free of stealing from the war booty, and from arrogance, you will enter Jannah. Otherwise, you will not be allowed to enter. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said about some souls that will be continuously punished in this earth until the day of judgment, the arrogant people. So that means the souls are in different levels. Some of them in the grave, some of them on earth. As for the soul of the disbelievers, the Quran made it very clear, it's in earth. They're not allowed to leave it. And the hadith of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, let it go back to it. That's why the majority of the ulama said it is in this earth. Where most of the scholars said it's around their graves, their souls. And we don't know much about the souls, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الرُّوحِ قُلِ الرُّوحُ مِنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّي وَمَا أُوتِيتُ مِنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. They only have very little knowledge about the souls and the world of and the thing that connect to it. Anyway, so the people stay in their grave, and subhanAllah, Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah said this, right before the resurrection, the punishment stopped for the disbelievers. So they think, khalas, that's it. That was the punishment, and now we are what? Gonna be let go. But it will be the shocking, which is the next session, inshallah. Actually, that's the resurrection. So stop right before the resurrection. That's why when they come out, they will say, قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا. What happened? Who resurrected us? We thought it's done. That's why they say, we wish to go back to death. Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah said, because they thought death has nothing anymore. So that's why they wish to go back to death. But no, there is no more death. It's a completely now alive without death from now on. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us and make it easy for us. We'll stop inshallah for Maghrib, and we will continue until the adhan is called. If you have a question about what I said, I'll be happy to answer. And if you need to go make wudu, go make wudu. Yes?
Okay, so you said the soul has a connection with the body. But the body, once in the grave, it decomposes after a few months.
Yeah.
So there's no body left at all after a year or two. Like, they're only bones.
Yeah. So that's why it's partial.
Connection.
Yeah, but the connection will still be to the grave, because there still remain from you something in the grave. So whatever remained from you, there is a still connection between the soul and that grave. That's why it's sunnah to go say, when you go to the grave and you say Assalamu alaikum to the person, he will be actually told and hear the salam. So his soul, that even if the body is not there anymore.
So
Yes.
you hear the salam and the du'as what people go and do in the grave?
Yeah.
Sheikh, I have heard somewhere like gathering of souls before its birth goes to human body.
Yes.
You you told for disbelievers and believers it is being separate. Some ulama says that. But I have been heard that whenever birth takes place, when Allah brings anyone to this world, it is first enters as a believer.
No, I didn't say that. I said, I don't agree that the soul of people go back to the same place where they are. Because those dead ones, among them the good and the bad and the mu'min and the kafir, you cannot put all these souls together.
I believe it may be gathered.
But before they were sent to the bodies, all souls are equally believers. But after death, they're not equal. There's a sinner soul and there's a disbeliever soul and a believer soul.
Thank you.
But disbelievers who do not bury, there are no graves, they only
Grave
burn
doesn't
their
mean, very good. Grave doesn't mean a hole in the ground. Because most of people get buried, okay? But let's say now nobody get buried. It's still, it is the time, it's not the place. So if there is there's no connection between the soul and that particular, let's say somebody, ashes was thrown in the wind. Okay? So that means there's no grave. His soul will be dealt with. It's like, it's been taken for whatever. Some even believers, their body burned in a car accident or bombing or anything like that, or Allah forbid, eaten by animals, like a prey. What will happen to that person? Drown in the sea. So that person does not apply to him that rule of the grave. Apply to him, to his soul, the rule which has to do with that period of time, which is between this life and the next. So everything will relate to the soul at this point. Yeah, so let's say somebody trying to escape grave and said, I'm not going to be buried. It's not going to save you. You know Walt Disney?
Yes.
Very famous. Walt Disney was not buried when he died. They froze his body. If you ever go to Orlando, you can see it. You can go to the place. I don't know if you can see the body, but you can see the place. It's a place where his body actually frozen after he died. And he put in his it to be frozen, and there is actually electricity, like generators, in case if Orlando get hit with nuclear or whatever happened, it will keep his body frozen for 100 years, some number like that, big number, until they have electricity again. Why? Because he thinking that at one point doctor will know how to bring people back from death. So he want to preserve all his body part. So whenever doctor can do that, they can bring him easily back to life. He said, I have easier one to you. Believe in the day of judgment. You don't need to spend all this money. I'll bring your body back to life. In even perfect shape, not like the way you died. But subhanAllah, kufr. That's Allah. Inshallah, we'll continue after Salah, inshallah.